Well, hello there. I'm Don Arleth, and you're watching Flash News. The final stage of the government's reconstruction is now complete, and the names of the new government members have been revealed. One of them is Jarosław Kaczyński, the chairman of Law and Justice, who will become Deputy Prime Minister.
The reconstructed government will continue to be headed by Mateusz Morawiecki and 4 deputy prime ministers: Jarosław Kaczyński, who will supervise the ministries of Interior and Administration, Justice and National Defense, Professor Piotr Gliński, Jacek Sasin and Jarosław Gowin. The chairman of the Agreement Party, who is returning to the government, will also head the transformed Ministry of Development, Labour and Technology. This change has a less personal character and a more structural one. This new structure should improve the decision-making process. Some ministries will be joined and some will be liquidated. Thus, the number of ministries will decrease from 20 to 14. Grzegorz Puda is to become the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, while Przemysław Czarnek is to become the head of the Ministry of Education and Science. The picture is clear. All in all, there are only a few new names. This is not a revolution. The Prime Minister has highlighted this, and we see a continuation and new elements. This is such a new old government, one could say. The government reconstruction will take place next week.
1,552 new coronavirus infections were reported in Poland. This is the second highest daily tally since the pandemic began. Due to the increase in the number of cases, the health ministry is changing the procedures in dealing with COVID-infected patients.
More cases translate into more severe restrictions. Wearing a face mask will be obligatory in the yellow zone, also outdoors, while in the red zone, restaurants will be open until 10 p.m. The limits for people participating in family events such as weddings will be reduced throughout the entire country. Weddings and other gatherings generated 10% of all new infections. A maximum of 100 people will be able to participate in such events in the green zone, 75 in the yellow zone and 50 in the red zone. Another change concerns patients with diagnosed coronavirus who do not require hospital treatment. From now on, they will be directed to isolation by family doctors who will relieve in that way infectious disease specialists. Despite this high number of cases, this system should lead to a situation where we are able to provide a place for all patients. In hospitals where the majority of patients is staying, more so-called COVID beds will be available. There are over 1,200 such beds in Poland.
Now to Europe, where more countries are introducing new restrictions to fight the rising coronavirus cases. The Czech Republic has announced a 30-day state of emergency beginning on Monday and has reported just under 2,000 cases in the last 24 hours.
The new Czech regulations will, among other things, limit the number of people participating in a meeting up to 20 people outside and 10 people indoors. Sports events will take place without an audience, and high school students will learn remotely. A state of emergency will also be introduced in Slovakia. It will enter into force on the 1st of October for the next 45 days. On the same day, an obligation to wear face masks outdoors will be introduced, provided that it will be impossible to remain 2 meters away from another person. In Germany, in order to prevent a massive increase of infections, financial penalties were introduced for providing false contact information in restaurants. The rules for organizing events were also tightened. We would all like to live as in the old days, me too, but in that way we would risk everything we have accomplished so far within the last couple of months. In France, the government has introduced new restrictions on restaurants. In some regions, bars and restaurants have to be closed. In others, they may work, but only during certain hours. The representatives of the industry are protesting. How are we supposed to make money? How are we supposed to pay the rent? And finally, how are we supposed even to pay our loans? The coronavirus has also changed the plans of Ukrainian parliamentarians. In a vote, the deputies themselves decided that the next meeting will not take place. The reason? More and more cases of COVID-19 among MPs and employees of the Supreme Council. The national epidemiological restrictions are eased by Norway. However, the mayor of Oslo has criticized the government for this decision, and she introduced an obligation to wear face masks on public transport in the Norwegian capital and to register guests in every restaurant.
As the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh enters its 5th day, the death toll continues to rise. Armenia and Azerbaijan are accusing each other of escalating tensions. The UN Security Council called for an immediate end to the violence and condemned the use of force by both sides.
Conscription in the capital city of Azerbaijan. Those soldiers will probably fight in the nearest time for Nagorno-Karabakh. I hope that we will be hearing Allah Akbar and we will give you good news about Nagorno-Karabakh. May God guard our army, the victory belongs to us. The conflict between Azerbaijanis and Armenians, which has lasted for over 30 years, once again turned into regular clashes a few days ago. There is no indication of stopping this conflict. It is very difficult to talk about negotiations, especially about content, when military operations are being carried out in the meantime. Armenia accuses Turkey of participation in the military conflict on the side of Azerbaijan and of shooting down the Su-25 jet. Azerbaijan claims that it is a lie and that two such military jets were supposed to crash in the mountains. Turkey's role is limited only to moral help, which they are offering us. Experts analyzing the situation in the Middle East do not believe this scenario, the more so that Syrian jihadists probably are involved in this operation and they were supposed to be recruited by the Turks.
French police accused and arrested 29 people of providing financial support to Islamic jihadists in Syria. The operation was conducted in 26 departments throughout the country. The funds were supposedly transferred using cryptocurrency.
The police searched 55 premises. The detainees are between 22 and 66 years old. They were providing terrorists with money via internet money transfers. The investigation on the organization supporting French jihadists in Syria with the use of cryptocurrencies has lasted for several months. This funding system was to be set up in 2019 by two French citizens fighting in Syria for an Al-Qaeda affiliate group. They were sentenced in 2016 in absentia by a French court to 10 years in prison for their activity.
There is a new development in the battle to reduce plastic waste. British scientists working with PET-consuming enzymes have introduced a modification to create a super enzyme. This breakthrough technique can accelerate the recycling of plastic waste by up to 6 times.
The components of the superenzyme are PETase and MHETase, discovered 4 years ago at a landfill site in Japan. The mixture made from them allows the polymers to be broken down into finer components that can be reused. The first single-family house in Germany created in 3D technology. It can be used the same way as a traditional one. The walls of the building grow layer by layer instead of brick by brick. 1 square meter is created within 5 minutes. On the construction side, there is indeed a lot to be done, but the majority of the work is performed by printers. And they do not even think of work because love is in the air. As usual, at this time of the year, nature lovers can admire deer rutting. It looks exceptionally picturesque in the Caballeros National Park in Toledo, where over 4,000 deer are at home. We do not know how many people they have helped so far, but they are doing everything to increase this number. British mountain rescuers are testing help which is literally falling from the sky. It is a jetpack that will allow to reach the victims faster in places hard to get to. The test was conducted in Cambria County. The time advantage of this solution is undisputed. It took a rescuer with jet propulsion 90 seconds to reach the summit. Without such support, he would have needed 25 minutes. The British Scout Association could always count on the help of Duchess Catherine, of which she is a co-chair and patron. She does not fulfill her task sitting behind her desk, as seen during a meeting with Scouts in London. Officially, Kate met with the Scouts to see how they were doing during the pandemic. However, the visit was far from an inspection. The Duchess played with the Scouts, baked marshmallows with them and made occasional cards for nursing homes.
Well, there is no doubt that Polish football superstar Robert Lewandowski is among the sport's top players, certainly the best Polish footballer. On Thursday, the captain of the Polish national football team will receive the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award.
Robert Lewandowski won everything there was to win last season. He won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, the German Cup and the Champions League. And individually, he won the top scorer title in all those tournaments, with a great record of 55 scored goals. A different decision of the UEFA would be a real surprise. According to sector media, Lewandowski had a major advantage over Manuel Neuer and Kevin De Bruyne. The ceremony will take place in the Swiss city of Nyon during the Champions League group drawing.
And congratulations to Lewy. Well, that's it for tonight. Come back and join us again tomorrow with Karolina Pajączkowska. Good night.